So here's my problem. I can't shift from neutral into forward. It's jammed over the winter season, probably salt corroded, it won't move, and I don't want to break it. This is a Mercury 2.5 horsepower four-stroke engine. So I'm going to start this, show you it's all working fine. Set here is open. Works absolutely fine, but I can't get it into forward. This lever, gear shift, is frozen. And that's what I'm going to hope to fix. Okay, so I'll start by taking the hood off. It just pops off very simply. Set that aside. So, I've looked at a bunch of YouTube channels. I've basically got to remove anything that holds this engine block to the base, which is fuel lines, electrical disconnections. I'll run through all what I do. I don't know what I'm doing yet. And then underneath there are a series of bolts here that hold it together, and I've got to remove this in order to get at the linkage for this. And I'm led to believe there's a gasket under here that I need to replace. So I'm going to work that all out. Now I'm going to remove the bolts for the holding the tank on, which are a number 10 spanner. We'll take that fuel tank off. So that's the fuel line removed. I'll just drain the petrol. It just came off the fuel tank. This is the shut-off valve for fuel. That's come loose. And in here is the little connector. It obviously connects like this. But this little connector is on the gut. There's some gooey, horrible stuff here holding it on. So I've got to figure out how I solve that one in due course. So here we go like that through that valve, and that's our on and off valve. Clips on like that. So I just need to sort out this gooey stuff. Something to note for later. Next thing to remove is the choke cable, which is attached to here. So what I'm going to do is remove this and see how this works. This listens up here. In fact, he just pops there. Just put that screw back on. I feel like he's pinging up. I'm going to put him back on. He just comes off. Like that. So that's the choke cable free. Okay, next thing to remove is this cable here, that he's holding down. This is the kill switch. He's electrically connected here. There's a little wire thing that's holding him together. Okay, that's I don't know. Okay, so he's just around like that. Okay, so he's just a little. So I'm going to put that bolt back in that place so I don't lose him. You can stay there, remind me where he goes. Yeah, then we have this electrical thing. I guess he just pulls apart. He does. He's pretty straightforward to reconnect, remember that. Got to remove this chap. I'm not sure if he's a separate one or Okay. Yeah, he's two parts, so he's part of that system. He doesn't need to come off, so I'm going to put him back because he's part of the old power head. He can stay on there. Just need to remind myself he goes back there. That's him free. Next thing is this chap. This is the throttle control. And I'm guessing if I remove this bolt, so I would suggest you take for your boat a good photograph of everything before you dismantle it. And then in particular, this little chap here, he is a slightly complicated fellow to put back together again. Just have a good note on how he comes apart, how these are all positioned, how this cable slots in. I have a chance of getting him off, see what happens. Now be careful how these things spring apart. Okay, so he popped in there. He'll go back like that. Watch he doesn't fall out. Okay, I've got to look after this little chap. And he needs to... Yes, that's the way around he goes. So I'm going to leave him, set him aside somewhere safe in a moment. Look at the bolt to my hand, this chap. And I'm going to have to release this chap. And I think I need to loosen this, and I can either go with that one. Again, just before you take these cables apart, just make sure you know which one's which. And just to help you orientate, so I'm in my start position, acceleration goes in that direction. Back to the start, acceleration. Back to the start, acceleration. So that get these cables, put them the wrong way round, and of course things will go the opposite. So I can get to him, So I'm going to loosen these listens. I just loosen this side and he'll come off, and I'll do the same with this. I loosen both sides on the same side. So the other two will stay fixed. That might be an important adjustment that I've got to look after. And he comes away. A little bit in the middle. We could lose him. So I'm going to take him out. He's symmetrical. This shouldn't come apart. Okay. Next thing to free up are these tubes going into the system. This is going to come away. So he's attached to here. So this one is pushing through there. And this one, the other end. I've got to make sure I get these the right way round. So the one that's further forward goes to the further forward socket there. Okay. Also free. So now the next step is to remove these bolts underneath. So I've got a series of bolts to remove that lifts that head off and give me access to this gear lever that's stuck. Okay, I'm down to my fourth bolt now. Now once I remove this, I've got two left. So, there's one more bolt. This one here. I'll just listen first. There's 7 bolts. Now he's loose. Set that back down. Okay, one of the ones that things have proved really hard is trying to separate this. I've just done it, but it's not on video. And basically I gotta tapped it. The recommendations are to tap it in solid bits. So I've gone around tapping it with a wood and a metal in different points, finding different points in there in the casing, something solid, tapping it all the way around in different directions. I did do some WD-40 around the base as well. I've tried levering it, but the problem with levering is it puts a lot of pressure on the plastic. And I ended up just standing up and giving it a good old wiggle, trust myself, and just a little movement happened. And I just worked that movement both sides, wiggle, 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 until I got it free. And then it was able to lift the whole thing out, which I've already done, but just to lift it all out, checking the wires are caught. Nothing was caught, everything's come free. And you can see the old gasket which I need to replace. I need to get that sorted out. It needs replacing, and there's parts of the gasket in the casing here as well. But that was a big step. That was difficult for me. But we're beyond the point of no return now. So one of the things I haven't done is ordered the gaskets, because I want to see what that looked like, because I wasn't 100% sure which one to order, and I found what I think is the same part, pretty sure, on eBay. This is my laptop showing the eBay, and that gasket, it's a set that comes with the handle, 2 O-rings, a ball bearing and a spring. Might be the thing for me, and that looks like it should fit the same. It's got the same shape with these inner parts. Okay, so the next step in my journey is to suss out why this won't go into forward gear. So this connects into here. You can see this little screw, and that sends down into that rod, presumably going down into the gear change. So I'm going to loosen this screw and see where that takes me next.